Right now, maybe you feel like you're falling apart, like the version of you that existed before him is gone, and you don't know who's left standing in her place. I need you to hear this clearly. That feeling isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that healing has actually begun. Nobody tells you this part. They tell you it gets easier. They tell you time heals. But nobody warns you that before it gets better. It gets quieter, emptier, like the noise of him is gone, and all that's left is you, alone with everything you never had time to feel. That silence is not empty. That silence is where the truth lives. The truth about how small you made yourself to keep the peace. The truth about how many times you convinced yourself it was your fault. The truth about how long you carried a relationship that only one of you was actually in. When you were with him, you didn't lose yourself all at once. It happened slowly, in 100 small moments. A joke he made that stung a little too much. A boundary you didn't set because you didn't want to seem difficult. A feeling you swallowed because his mood mattered more than your voice. And now that he's gone, all of that comes rushing back. Every swallowed feeling, every silenced voice. It doesn't feel like relief. It feels like grief. And that's because it is grief, not just for him, but for the version of you that disappeared while you were trying to keep him. So if you feel like you're losing yourself right now, I want you to consider a different way of seeing it. You're not losing yourself. You're finally meeting yourself. The self that existed underneath all the performing, all the shrinking, all the apologizing for things that were never your fault. This part is supposed to be hard. Nothing real gets built without first clearing away what was false. Stay with me, because what comes next is where the rebuilding begins. If this is speaking to something in you, take a breath and stay with this video. There's more ahead that you need to hear. Let's talk about why this hurts so much. Even now, even after everything, you're not just grieving a person. You're grieving a future you had already built in your mind. The version of him you believed in. The relationship you thought you were in. Before you understood what was actually happening. That's the part that breaks people. Not the ending itself, but the realization that so much of it was never real to begin with. The affection that came and went depending on his mood. The apologies that were really just tactics to keep you close. The way he could make you feel like the most important person in the room. And then like you didn't exist at all, sometimes in the same day. If you've been replaying moments, searching for the exact instant it all went wrong, I want to gently stop you there. There wasn't one moment. It was a pattern. A slow, repeated cycle of pulling you close and pushing you away. Just enough to keep you guessing. Just enough to keep you trying harder. This is why you feel exhausted in a way that doesn't make sense to people who've never been through it. You're not tired from missing him. You're tired from years, or months, of managing someone else's emotions while abandoning your own. Here's something important. The confusion you feel isn't a flaw in your thinking. It's the natural result of being in a relationship where the story kept changing. Where you were told one thing and shown another. Your mind is simply trying to make sense of something that was never designed to make sense. You don't need to have all the answers about what happened or why he was the way he was. You are allowed to let some of it stay unexplained. Understanding him was never actually your job. Understanding yourself is. And slowly, that's what starts happening. The fog lifts, even if just a little at a time. You start noticing when your body relaxes instead of braces. You start noticing days that pass without checking your phone, without replaying old conversations. That's not you forgetting. That's you healing. Stay with me for the final part, because this is where we talk about what it actually looks like to come back to yourself. Coming back to yourself doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens in small, quiet decisions that nobody else sees. It's choosing to rest instead of proving your worth. It's setting a boundary and not immediately apologizing for it. It's noticing the urge to shrink yourself in a new situation and choosing not to. Every one of these small moments is a thread, slowly weaving you back together. You will have days where the grief returns out of nowhere. A song, a smell, a familiar street. That doesn't mean you're back at the beginning. Healing isn't a straight line. It's closer to a spiral. You keep circling similar feelings, but each time from a little higher up, with a little more distance and a little more strength. One of the most important things you can do right now is stop measuring your healing by whether you still think about him. You will think about him. That's not the marker of progress. The real marker is how you treat yourself in the moments after you think about him. Do you spiral into shame, or do you meet yourself with patience? I want you to start practicing something simple. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, "What's wrong with me?" try replacing it with, What happened to me, and how do I take care of myself now? That one shift, repeated enough times, starts to rewire the way you relate to your own pain. You were not too sensitive. You were not too much. You were a person with real needs, in a situation that couldn't meet them. That's not a character flaw. That's simply the truth of what happened. The woman on the other side of this isn't going to be the same one who walked into that relationship. She's going to know her worth without needing anyone to confirm it. She's going to recognize red flags in the first conversation instead of the last argument. She's going to choose peace over intensity and mean it. You're already becoming her. Slower than you'd like, but surely. If this helped you feel a little less alone tonight, subscribe and stay close. There's more healing ahead, and I don't want you to miss it.